So today we want to study roasting of coffee. So the first person who started roasting is called Jabez Ban. Jabez Ban, he was the first person to roast coffee beans. And when they were roasting coffee beans, demand became high, and then they started using a forerunner machine to produce a lot of coffee. And before the machine came, people used to roast coffee on a heavy pan over the fire. They roast coffee on heavy pan over the fire. Even you, if you can take that pan, that heavy one that we cook chapati on, then you put in these green coffee beans, you roast like groundnuts, that coffee will be roasted. So roasters normally use there are two machines that normally use, two roasters machines. One is called the hot air roasters. One is called the hot air roasters. And then number two, there's one called drum roasters. So we have two types of roast machines. One, write down, the drum roasters, and two, hot air roasters. Now, for the drum roasters, so we have drum roasters and hot air. For the drum roasters, these machines roast beans as they tumble in a heated cylinder. The drum roasters roast green coffee beans as they tumble in a heated cylinder. While hot air roasters roast coffee as they tumble in hot air. While hot air roasters roast coffee as they tumble in hot air. So normally we have those two types of roasting machines. The one is hot air and another one is drum roasters. Now, write down that roasting is the heat treatment. Roasting is the heat treatment. Roasting is the heat treatment that transform green coffee. Roasting is the heat treatment that transform green coffee into roasted coffee beans. The heat treatment that transform green coffee to roasted coffee beans, full of body, aroma, and flavor. Full of body, aroma, and flavor. So we are roasting green coffee beans to achieve those three: body, aroma, and flavor. So why do we roast coffee? We roast coffee to develop flavor. We roast coffee to develop flavor. Even back at home, you can eat groundnuts the way they are, but sometimes we roast them just to develop flavor. Okay? So we roast coffee to develop a flavor. Now, there are components found in coffee. Write down components found in coffee. Number one, we have sugars in coffee. We have starch, minerals, coffee oils, acidity, or acid if you like. We even have moisture, carbohydrates, among other components, okay? So I want you to think of sugar inside there. I want to think of coffee oils. Did you write down coffee oils? Coffee oils, the water inside there, the acidity in coffee. When we are roasting coffee, these things will be burning up, creating a chemical reaction and all that. So I want you to write down that There are two reactions that normally takes place during roasting. There are two reactions that normally take place during roasting. Number one, there are two reactions that normally take place during roasting. Number one, endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. This takes place when there is absorption of heat into the bean. This takes place when there is absorption of heat into the bean. When there is absorption of heat into the bean. And under this reaction, you will see physical changes taking place. Under endothermic reaction, you will see physical changes taking place. These changes include: one, the density of the bean will change, the size, the color, and weight. So we've said under endothermic reaction, where there is absorption of heat, you will see physical changes taking place. That includes what you've written down: the density, the color, the weight. Okay? Then another reaction is called exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. This happens when heat has been developed. This happens when pressure has been developed inside the bean. It happens when pressure has been developed inside the beans. And the heat is penetrating outwards. That is from inside the beans now towards the surface of the beans outward. So, during roasting, you remember things like conduction, convection, radiation. You remember them? Do you remember those things? Was it in primary or secondary school? Where you are learning conduction, convection, radiation, and all that. You remember? So, if you take a candle, if this is a metal, and this is a flame, this is a metal of course, and this is a flame, this heat will penetrate from here. If you're not careful, you'll get burnt and drop these spoons, isn't it? When heat is penetrating through metallic substance like this one, that one is called what? Conduction it is. Okay? So, under endothermic reaction, where we have said that the heat, there will be absorption of heat into the bean. So, when you drop this coffee bean in heat, so heat will penetrate towards inside. From the surface here, moving towards the beans inside, isn't it? So when heat is penetrating from outside, getting into the bean, that is when endothermic reaction taking place. When pressure has been developed, now heat is coming out of the green coffee beans. That one we call exothermic reaction. So when heat is penetrating, is being absorbed, you will see physical changes taking place. Now physical changes are things you can see happening. Cindy, you can see it happening. Like you will see the color is changing from green to maybe yellow. You will see the density, the size, and all those things. So during that time when heat is penetrating or is being absorbed inside there, you see physical changes. Now, under exothermic, where now the heat is exiting from the green coffee beans, you see chemical changes taking place. You have written down chemical changes. During that reaction, the exothermic reaction, under exothermic reaction, you will see chemical changes taking place. You will see chemical reaction taking place under exothermic reaction. The chemical changes include: one, the sugars caramelize. Those sugars inside the bean will be burning up. So they will be caramelizing. So the sugars inside there will be caramelizing. They will be melting. Number two, polymerization will be taking place. Polymerization will be taking place under chemical reaction. So there's something I want you to understand. We talked about the components found in coffee, such as sugar, oils, acid, proteins, starches inside the coffee beans. These things will be burning up, isn't it? When they burn up, they will create some chemical. A mixture of sugar here, a mixture of all those things. When they're burning up, they create some chemicals. Now, when they're burning up like that, creating chemicals like they do, there is a gas that will also be produced from that combination. And that gas is called CO2. The most notorious is CO2. So when you roast coffee, you are not supposed to take it immediately after roasting, because there's CO2 gas in it. You are supposed to wait for 2 weeks for that CO2 to disappear, to degas. You get? That is when now it is safe for you to take it. Especially for this machine, espresso machine. When you are these coffee beans, they are supposed to have stayed for 2 weeks or 1 week plus to allow CO2 to escape from the green coffee beans after roasting. But when you are roasting coffee, when you are brewing coffee using the V60, for example, it is advisable use the fresh one. On one hand, I'm saying do not use freshly roasted coffee because it has got CO2. On the other, I'm saying use it when you're using a certain device. When you're using an espresso machine, let coffee degas for even 2 weeks, isn't it? But when you're using the V60, it is advisable you use the freshly roasted coffee. So how will you be allowing CO2 to escape? By pouring water as you stop. You pour water as you stop for blooming to take place. We will study that next week. So I hope you understand endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. Okay? You understand that, isn't it? Now, what happens during roasting? So when you put green coffee beans into the roast machine, first thing you will see happening is the color. So can you tell me how color will be changing without skipping? The green coffee, the bean is green. From green, the color will change to yellow. Then from yellow, it will go to light brown. Then from light brown to brown. Then before turning black like dark roast, you will have darker color. But before dark, we will use the word medium dark. So the color of the bean will be turning from green to yellow to light brown to brown, then to dark. You get? So when we'll be roasting, at some point we will have light roast, We stop it. The medium roast, the medium dark, and even the dark roast. So I want you to understand the color. Number 2, when you're roasting coffee beans, talking about the chemical changes, sugars will be caramelizing. Okay? Another one, there is polymerization that will be taking place, and even the moisture, the water in it, also will dissipate and all that. You get it? Yeah. So, I write down factors to consider when roasting coffee beans. So what are some of the factors you need to consider when you are roasting coffee beans? Number 1, moisture content in the bean. Number 2, the size. The density. Another one, coffee should be roasted evenly. Not like we do with maize. Maize, part of it is black, towards the cob is white. So coffee must be roasted evenly, okay, all round. That is one factor you must consider. So they must keep on moving so that they be roasted all round. Another one, coffee must be cooled quickly when roasting is complete. Coffee must be cooled quickly when roasting is complete. Coffee must be cooled quickly when roasting is complete. Coffee must be cooled quickly when roasting is complete. Then another one is it should be at a lower temperature, but for a short period of time. So when heat is low and then you roast for a long time, the beans will become baked. Okay? So when heat is low, you do it but for a shorter time, because too much heat will burn the beans. So you must control the heat when roasting coffee beans. You get it? Yeah. So those are some of the things you must consider when roasting coffee beans. So when you roast coffee beans, when you're roasting coffee beans, you will hear some sound, the cracking sound coming out of the green coffee beans. So if you start roasting beans, it will reach a point where you get the cracking sound, like that one we get from the maize when you're roasting maize, that sound. And then if you continue, you will hear the second crack. So there is a first crack and there is a second crack when you're roasting coffee beans. You get that? Normally we have first and the second crack. So let us look at the roast profile. Write down roast profile. Roast profile, stroke, level of roasting. Roast profile, stroke, level of roasting. Roast profile, stroke, level of roasting. So number 1, we have light roast. Light roast. So what are the characteristics of light roast? Number 1, it is light brown in color. Light brown in color. Light brown in color. Number 2, high in acidity. High in acidity. Number 3, roasting time 9 minutes. Roasting time 9 minutes. Another point, they have a fruity smell. So when you start roasting coffee, you'll get a different kinds of smell. For example, you'll get a fruity smell or popcorn smell or grassy smell. Popcorn, grassy, fruity, toasty. Sorry? Under light roast. Yeah, you might get the smell of popcorn when you start roasting the green coffee beans. You might get the smell of toast when you are now toasting bread. Okay, you can get that toasty smell or even grassy smell. Level roast number 2, or roast profile number 2 is medium roast. Medium brown in color. The color is medium brown. Roasting time 16 minutes. Another point, sweeter in taste. Balanced in flavor and acidity. Balanced in flavor and acidity. The next roast profile is medium dark roast. Medium dark roast. Medium dark roast. Darker in color. Darker in color. Flavor emerge and acidity disappears completely. Flavor emerge and acidity disappear completely. Has got some oils on the surface. So medium dark roast has got some oils on the surface. So in light roast, you don't see any oil. Medium roast, you don't see any oil. But come medium dark, you see some oils on the surface. Now for the medium dark roast, we don't have time. We don't have time for it. And we'll explain why. Light roast, we said 9 minutes roasting time. Medium, we said 16. But when it comes to medium dark roast, we don't have time. But they are saying that the flavor emerge. So it's upon you to emerge that flavor the way you want in medium dark roast. It's you to play now with the timing for you to get it right. Okay? Then the final one is the dark roast. Dark roast. Darker, smoky taste. It is dark. It has got a bitter smoky taste. Sorry, bitter smoky taste. Very oily on the surface. Very oily on the surface. Very oily on the surface. And roasting time 30 minutes. Roasting time 30 minutes. So talking about the roasting time, The roasting time will depend with the moisture content in the bean. Bean with a lot of moisture will take more time to roast. Bean that is dry will take lesser time to get roasted, isn't it? So when you're roasting beans, the moisture content will dictate time. The bigger the bean, we say when the bean is bigger, again it will take more time to be roasted. Small beans will burn very quickly, isn't it? So as much as I'm talking about the 30 minutes or the 9 minutes or 16 minutes, things might be different in that coffee shop you'll be working in, because size of the bean differs. Like we talked about grade AA to be big, while TT is small. Remember? So when it comes to time, it will depend on the moisture content in the bean, the density of that bean, the size of that bean. All those will contribute to the amount of time required for you to roast that coffee beans.